everyone, it's Lindsay. Just wanted to get together and talk about standards-based grading. It's rising in our education world, and it's something that my school has implemented this year in my school, and I have personal experience in it, but I've also done a lot of research on it and wanted to discuss it on Edutopia, which is an education, the George Lucas Educational Foundation put out an article about 3 peaks and 3 pits of standards-based grading that I wanted to share with you. It talks about how one school switched from traditional grades, the A, B, C, D, and F grading system, to a standards-based grading system where each subject kind of has specific standards that they assess students on, and multiple assignments can have multiple standards attached to it, and you can grade the students on those specific standards and not just assign them they got all of the answers correct, or if they failed the assessment, but you can really give specific feedback to students. In this particular article, they talk about the positive changes in mindset, assessments, and communication. However, there's still a room for improvement. The change involves the celebration of successes and the reflection on shortfalls as the school transitioned from a traditional grading system to a standards-based grading system. The person who wrote the article, Josh Work, discusses how they observed a shift in school culture from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and we always want our students to have a growth mindset. Under standards-based grading, teachers created an opportunity for students to persevere in the face of challenges. For example, if a student did not perform well on an assessment, the student had the opportunity to show relearning of that topic and then be able to retake that assessment and show his growth and his learning based on that certain standard. So students are measured on their proficiency of content standards. Where some students were able to demonstrate early mastery, meaning that they were able to take this assessment and show growth on that standard right away, and some are able to require some reteaching on that topic. Teachers are able to easily identify those students who may need some more support in order to demonstrate proficiency. And students are beginning to understand and value the process of learning rather than just earning a grade. For instance, my students, they like the opportunity to be able to show that they really understand that topic by retaking a test rather than feeling like, well, got an F on this test, there's nothing I can do about it but move on. They're able to say, well, I maybe didn't understand it the first time, but let me show you how I understand it now, and then show their thinking. So the 3 peaks that this article talks about is growth mindset. Teachers are able to use ongoing formative assessments as a way to guide classroom instruction. Students are able to practice their mastery of standards without the penalty of having a poor grade in a grade book. The process of reteaching creates an opportunity for both teachers and students to learn from their mistakes. So we do a lot of error analysis on assessments or projects. Where did they fall short? Where can they improve on their learning? Teachers are able to then reflect on their instruction and evaluate if their lessons truly met the needs of their learners. And then students are able to focus their efforts on concepts they struggle to understand and the option for reassessment. So they really get to understand and be the pilots to their learning. Should I retake this assessment, or do I think that I'll later be able to show my thinking on this standard at a different time? Together, reteaching and reassessment allow for the stakeholders, the students, to experience that intelligence can be developed, and it's not set in stone, that it is a learning process. The quality for curriculum and assessments is also a pro for standards-based grading. It requires the teacher to closely examine the actual standards of the content and evaluate the predetermined objectives, without a clear set of measurable standards, you cannot have quality instruction. It is hard to kind of start this because you have to redesign your instruction and your assessments in order to create the opportunity for students to demonstrate proficiency. So you need to know that your assessment hits X, Y, and Z standards. It's also very clearly communicated to students and parents what standards-based grading means and what each assessment means for each standard. So individuals are understanding each concept, and no longer are students able to hide behind weighted averages and positive academic behavior such as attendance and participation. Those are graded separately. I will later do kind of the 3 downfalls of standards-based grading. How do you feel that standards-based grading affects learners and education?